Good morning and welcome to the fifth and final meeting of the Nevada Silver-Haired Legislative Forum. First, we will call the roll. For those members attending virtually, would you please turn on your cameras and respond when you hear your name? Madam Secretary, please call the roll. If a member is not present, please record that member as present when he or she arrives.
Ms. Aiden? Ms. Batts? Ms. Bongiorno? Ms. Daniels? Ms. Fesenmeyer? Dr. Jordan?
Good morning, Marilyn Jordan, District 9.
Ms. Laura Levitt? Ms. Peggy Levitt?
Present.
Mr. Linden? Dr. Marchant? Ms. Martinez? Mr. Raja? Mr. Silberkraus?
Present.
Mr. Slaughter?
Present.
Mr. Troth?
Present.
Ms. Woods? President Alvarez?
Present. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Before we begin, I want to briefly go over some basic housekeeping items. Our meeting is being video conferenced to Carson City, and some members are participating virtually over Zoom as well. The Zoom video call has a chat feature. However, this feature is only to be used for technical assistance. Any links or information that you would like to share during your presentation should be stated verbally on the record. Members of the public should sign the sign-in sheets at each location, even if you do not intend to testify. When testifying, please remember to turn on your microphone and clearly state your name and the entity you represent at the beginning of your testimony. Speak directly into the microphone to ensure those listening in other locations and watching online can hear your testimony. Please remember to turn the microphone off when you finish speaking to minimize background noise. Those testifying should provide a business card and a copy of any written materials not previously submitted to the Secretary. Meeting materials provided to the forum members for this meeting can be accessed on the forum's webpage. Individual public copies are also available in each location. Anyone who would like to receive electronic notification of and access to the forum's agendas, minutes, and final report can do so by going to the Nevada Legislature's website and following the links. And finally, I would like to remind everyone to please silence all your electronic devices, especially cell phones and laptops during the meeting. With that, we'll get started. We will have public comment period at the beginning and end of the meeting. Speakers are urged to avoid repeating comments or points made by previous speakers. Any person may also submit written comments to the forum secretary during or after today's meeting. In addition to testifying in person, members of the public may provide public comment in 4 different ways, all of which are listed on the agenda. With that, we will move on to public comment. Forum members, please keep in mind that comment is only for members of the public. Since we'll be having a work session today, I encourage individuals to address any item in the work session during the first public comment period. This does not preclude me from requesting clarification if the forum has questions regarding specific items in the work session document. Therefore, to ensure you have an opportunity to present your views, you may want to address items in the work session during this first comment period. We will start with public comment from those in the physical locations and then move on to public comment from anyone who has called in. Is there anyone in Carson City who would like to provide public comment at this time? Seeing no one, we will move to Las Vegas. Is there anyone in Las Vegas who would like to prevent public comment at this time? Seeing no one, our broadcast and production service staff will interact with those phoning in public comment and providing testimony to facilitate participation in the meeting. BPS, please add the first caller with public comment to the meeting.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to provide public comment, please press *9 now.
Hello, this is Michelle Fuller-Hallauer, Winged Wolf Innovations, and the Rural Nevada COC coordinator. I would just like to say that we really appreciate the fact that you are considering improving access to secure and stable housing for seniors in Nevada. And I am here to help support in any way possible as you work through today's work session. And I am here to provide support and give you any information and provide you with anything that you might need as you go through this work session. So I'll be on standby. I just wanted to make sure that you're aware that I am here in the listening audience. Thank you.
Chair, your public line is open and working, but there are no callers to participate at this time.
Thank you. Seeing there are no more callers, we'll get started with the first agenda item. The first item is approval of the minutes for the meeting of June 26. Are there any questions regarding the minutes from the last meeting?
I'm going to make the motion.
Seeing none, I will take a motion to approve the minutes of the forum meeting on June 26, 2024.
Marilyn Jordan, District 9. I move to approve the minutes of the June 26, 2024 meeting.
Thank you, Dr.
So
Jordan.
moved.
Is there a second?
So moved. Second.
Thank you so much. Lucille, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Next, we will begin the work session. Members, you should have the work session document in your packets. It is also posted on the forum's meeting page. The work session document contains a list of various proposed recommendations. Ms. Kalina will walk us through each recommendation in the work session document. Ms. Kalina?
Thank you, President Alvarez. For the record, I am Ashley Kalina with the Research Division of the Legislative Council Bureau. As nonpartisan staff, I can neither advocate for or against a measure that comes before the forum. With that, I will provide a short overview of the work session. While the work session document is designed to assist the forum in determining what actions it wishes to take, each item in this document may be subject to further discussion, refinement, or action. It is important to remember the forum is limited by statute to one legislative measure or bill draft request, and any recommended legislation proposed by the forum must be approved by a majority of the members. The members may also vote to send as many letters of recommendation or support as it chooses and include position statements in its final report. With that, I will now walk the forum through the recommendations in the work session document. The forum will be presented with the opportunity to choose which of the first two recommendations will become the BDR to submit to the 2025 Nevada Legislature. After I present the first two recommendations, President Almaraz will ask for a raise of hands to show preference for either recommendation A or recommendation B. Once we have determined which recommendation has the greater show of hands, President Almaraz will then ask for a motion. Recommendation A is to increase the maximum term of imprisonment from 15 to 20 years as a penalty for home invasion found in Nevada Revised Statutes NRS 205.067 that results in the injury or death of Nevadans 60 years of age or older, which would be in addition to the enhancement prescribed in NRS 193.167, and expand the categories of the list of crimes committed against persons 60 years of age and older punishable by law in NRS 193.167 to include theft, general fraud, and violations of the Deceptive Trade Practices Act found in Chapter 598 of NRS. The recommendation was made by President Almaraz and Vice President Jordan in response to testimony by Mark J. Kruger, Consumer Counsel and Chief Deputy Attorney General, Bureau of Consumer Protection, Nevada's Office of the Attorney General. We do have Mr. Kruger participating on Zoom, and he's available to answer any questions from the forum members on this recommendation at this time. Thank you, President Almaraz.
Committee members, are there any questions regarding the recommendation on increasing the penalties against seniors as Ms. Kalina just explained to us? Mr. Troth? Mr. Troth, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Kruger, are you with us?
Mark Kruger for the record. Yes, I am.
Yeah, in the last legislative session, didn't these penalties were increased to the current ones now in the last session, if I remember from the discussion?
No, Mark Kruger for the record. No, the last session increased the civil penalties for violations of the Deceptive Trade Practice Act.
Okay, thank you. That jogs my memory on that. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
No worries.
Any other questions? Ms. Kalina will now give us recommendation B.
Thank you, President Almaraz. This is Ashley Kalina for the record, Research Division, LCB. Recommendation B is to draft a bill to address food insecurity of senior citizens in Nevada by requiring the Division of Welfare and Supportive Services, Department of Health and Human Services to seek all federal authority to reduce the number of verification requirements for Nevadans 60 years of age or older in certifying and recertifying eligibility to receive Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program or SNAP benefits, provide applicants 60 years of age and over with a simplified version of the SNAP application in large print, and allow telephone enrollment for SNAP benefits to applicants 60 years of age and older, and revising the definition of food bank in subsection 5B of NRS 561.515 to mean a food bank or other organization that is a member of the Feeding America Network or any other nonprofit organization in Nevada providing food services to individuals in need as determined by the Director of the State Department of Agriculture. This recommendation was proposed by President Almaraz in consultation with forum staff, Sarah Rogers, Deputy Chief, Nutrition Unit, Bureau of Child, Family, and Community Wellness, Division of Public and Behavioral Health, DHHS, and Allison Jenko, Chair of Nevada Governor's Council on Food Security, and Patricia Hoppy, Administrator, Division of Food and Nutrition at the State Department of Agriculture. We have Robert Thompson, Administrator of the Division of Welfare and Supportive Services, DHHS, who is attending here in Las Vegas and available to answer any questions from members of the forum. Thank you, President Almaraz.
Thank you, Ms. Kalina. Any questions? Mr. Thompson, do you have anything you would like to add?
Robert Thompson, for the record, no, I don't have anything to add.
Committee members, are there any questions regarding the recommendation on protections for seniors against physical and financial harm? Dr. Jordan?
Marilyn Jordan, District 9. At the beginning of our first session, we talked extensively about looking at how we can make a difference in the lives of our seniors by addressing scams and fraud and these different things. And that's exactly what we've worked to do. And I would like to just reiterate my support for this particular area.
Thank you, Dr. Jordan. Roger, Mr. Toth?
Yeah, I'd like to add on to that. I think, you know, we use the term in there, where is it, results? You know, we need to make a better deterrent. And I think this helps with that. We have way too many seniors that are taken advantage of. I like the term in there for general fraud that's also added in there. We have way too many of our seniors that are being taken advantage of. And I think as now that we talked about there's better civil penalties are done now, and now let's go with some criminal actions and increase that, try and make this as a deterrent that we try and help the people in Nevada quit getting ripped off and taken advantage of. Let's put some of them in jail and put them there for a while. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Toth. Any other questions or comments from the members? I will entertain a motion to approve the recommendation for the sorry. Could I have a show of hands by who is in favor of having the increased protections for seniors against physical and financial harm as our BDR? Do we have any online? Lucille has her hand up.
Aye.
We have 7 hands up. Thank you so much. I'd like a show of hands, please, on our second request addressing food insecurity among seniors. A show of hands of who is in favor of that for our BDR, please. By show of hands, it looks like our BDR will be A, increased protections for seniors against physical and financial harm. I will entertain a motion, please, to approve that recommendation.
I move approval of choice A.
Thank you, Mr. Marchant. May I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Marchant has made the motion and Dr. Jordan has seconded. Any discussion of the motion before we vote? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Ms. Kalina, please move on to the next recommendation.
Thank you, President Alvarez. This is Ashley Kalina, Research Division, LCB. Recommendation C is to send a letter to the Nevada Equal Rights Commission, the Department of Employment Training and Rehabilitation, and chairs of the Senate and Assembly Committees on Commerce and Labor, expressing the forum's support for decreasing discrimination against Nevadans 60 years of age and older in the workplace. Specifically, the letter should encourage them to support efforts to remove questions about age or date of birth from employment applications. Additionally, the letter should highlight that at least 6 other states have enacted legislation in recent years that prevents employers from asking of prospective employees' age or date of birth. This recommendation was made by forum members Peggy Levitt and Roger Troth. Kara Jenkins with the Nevada Equal Rights Commission is attending on Zoom today and is available to respond to any questions from the forum members at this time. Thank you, President Alvarez.
Thank you, Ms. Kalina. Forum members, are there any questions regarding the recommendation on C?
I move the approval of the recommendation.
And I'll second that, Roger from 18.
So we have a motion from Dr. Marchant and a second from Mr. Troth. All those in favor say aye. 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 Opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Ms. Kalina, can we move to the next recommendation, please?
Ashley Kalina, Research Division, LCB. Recommendation D was to send a letter to DHHS, the Aging and Disability Services Division, the Division of Healthcare Financing and Policy, and the chairs of the Senate and Assembly Committees on Health and Human Services, urging these entities to bolster efforts to increase the reimbursement rate for the home delivered meals program through home and community-based services from a current rate of $5 per meal to at least $7 per meal. This week, we received updated information from Kirsten Colomb, Social Services Chief 3 with DHCFP, that the division was able to move forward and implement the rate increase for home delivered meals, so the letters of support to increase the rate are no longer needed. However, the forum president has proposed to send letters expressing the forum's support of this action and appreciation for the initiative and the work of DHCFP to accomplish it. Ms. Colomb is available on Zoom for any questions from the forum. Thank you, President Alvarez.
Thank you, Ms. Kalina. Committee members, are there any questions regarding the recommendation on C, the prevention of age rate reimbursement for home delivered meals program? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the recommendation. Dr. Jordan has made the recommendation. May I have a second?
Chairman, I'll
Chair
second
Daniels,
that.
second.
Ms. Daniels, thank you for the second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries. Ms. Kalina, can we please move on to the next recommendation?
Ashley Kalina, Research Division, LCB. Recommendation E is to send a letter to the Nevada System of Higher Education and the Sanford Center for Aging, University of Nevada, Reno School of Medicine, expressing the forum's support to include courses in basic geriatric care for all healthcare training programs in Nevada. The letter should explain there is growing deficit in geriatricians providing care for older adults, and this deficit will only grow as the population continues to age. This means all clinicians, especially family medicine and general practitioners, will be providing the bulk of care for older adults. This letter will serve as a call to action to improve care for older adults in Nevada and our future selves, ensuring trainees are prepared to care and advocate for this diverse and often vulnerable population. This recommendation was made by Dr. Peter Reed, Director of the Sanford Center of Aging, School of Medicine, and Professor of Public Health, UNR. Unfortunately, Dr. Reed was not able to attend today. However, he has expressed that he is happy to respond to any questions via email. Thank you, President Almaraz.
Thank you, Ms. Kalina. Committee members, are there any questions on recommendation E, basic geriatric training for all healthcare fields? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the recommendation.
I move approval of the recommendation.
Thank you, Dr. Marchand. May I have a second?
Chair Daniels, second.
Thank you, Ms. Daniels. Any discussion on the motion before we vote? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Those opposed? Opposed.
Okay.
Thank you. The motion carries. Ms. Kalina, can we move on to the next recommendation, please?
Ashley Kalina, Research Division, Legislative Council Bureau. Recommendation F is to send a letter to the Governor, Nevada's Housing Division, Division of Welfare and Supportive Services, and Nevada's 17 county commissions, expressing the forum's support of greater coordination of state agencies and consolidated efforts to address the growing need for safe, secure, and stable housing for Nevada seniors. The letter will also include a recommendation to establish a multi-year rent stabilization fund. This recommendation was made by President Almaraz. We have Michelle Fuller-Hallauer, owner, CEO, and chief strategist with Wing Wolf Innovations, who presented information on this topic at the forum's April 9th meeting. She is participating by Zoom and available for any questions from the forum.
Thank you, Ms. Kalina. Are there any questions from the forum regarding item F, improved access to secure and stable housing for seniors in Nevada? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the recommendation.
There I am.
We have a motion from Dr. Jordan. May I have a second? Oh, second.
Chair Daniels,
We have a second from Ms. Peggy Levitt. Any discussion on the motion before we vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Ms. Kalina, may we move on to our last recommendation, please?
Ashley Kalina, Research Division, LCB. Finally, recommendation G is to send a letter to ADSD, DPBH, and Nevada's Division of Outdoor Recreation within the State Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, expressing the forum's support for greater collaboration in creating recreational programs for seniors, especially for those with neurodegenerative disorders. The letter should highlight that older adults reap many rewards from physical activity, including the ability to live independently longer, have a better quality of life, and require less medical care. The letter will also include a recommendation for efforts to create a resource listing of entities that offer such recreational programs for seniors. This recommendation was proposed by forum member Frank Slaughter. Again, Dr. Peter Reed is able to answer any questions also about this topic by way of email. Thank you, President Almaraz.
Thank you, Ms. Kalina. Committee members, are there any questions regarding recommendation G, support for recreational programs for seniors?
Frank Slaughter, District 11. I'd like to thank you for including the part of neurological degenerative diseases in our state, knowing that there are some people that don't have the ability financially or even transportation-wise to access some of these programs. So let us set up to support this will be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Slaughter. Anyone else? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the recommendation.
Lucille Aiden, District 13. I approve the recommendation.
Thank you, Ms. Aiden. May I have a second?
Frank Slaughter, I second this.
Thank you, Mr. Slaughter. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries. With that, we will now move to public comments. Anyone in Carson City? Seeing none, we will move to Las Vegas. Anyone in Las Vegas have public comment? Seeing none, BPS staff, please add the first caller with public comment to the meeting.
Chair, your public line is open and working, but there are no callers to participate at this time.
Thank you. Are there any comments from members before we adjourn? This will be our last meeting until after the 25 session, and it will be during the 25-26 interim. Dr. Marchant?
This apparently is my swan song as an appointee from Senate District 12. I'd like to thank staff particularly and the members of the committee for the cordial reception of myself and everybody who made presentations here. And thank you once again for your commitment.
Thank you, Dr. Marchant. Dr. Jordan?
Marilyn Jordan, District 9. On behalf of the forum, I would like to extend my personal thanks and appreciation to our president for her leadership and direction during this session, and to all the members who have taken time from their busy schedules to make a difference in the lives of our senior citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jordan. Ms. Levitt?
Yes, I wanted to know if out of the top two that we were deciding on a bill draft, if the one that did not get approved for food insecurity, if we can do a letter of support for that or something in that vein.
with permission from the president, this is Ashley, Research Division, LCB Levitt. Yes, we can definitely do that if that's what the forum would like to do. We had a similar situation that we did the last interim where the option that wasn't selected as the BDR was then, we just changed it into a letter of support for that particular suggestion or proposal.
Thank you, Ms. Levitt. Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Kalina. I would like to say thank you to all of you, everyone on the committee for your dedication and your support for all of the meetings that we have had and your due diligence to get to this point where we have a BDR. Also at this time, in order to follow the recommendation that Ms. Levitt had, we will have to take a vote to do the letter. Committee members, are there any questions that you might have about doing a letter for A, the increased protections for seniors against physical and financial harm? A letter of recommendation. I'm sorry.
It's B.
A letter of recommendation addressing food insecurity among seniors. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve the recommendation.
I'll make the motion. Laura Levitt.
Thank you, Ms. Levitt. May I have a second?
I'll second that, Roger Trotham, 18.
Thank you, Mr. Troth. Any discussion on the motion before we vote? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Kalina. I also just wanted to say this BDR, which I'm sure you're all aware, will be sent to legal to get written. We will get a date for when it is going to be presented at the legislature. I'm hoping that some of you will be able to testify so that we can get this passed in the different committees that it has to go through. I'm sure that, Julianne will send an email to let everyone know. This is the building where you can come to give your testimony when the time comes. Those of you in the north, and I do thank Miss Aiden because she did come when we did our last bill. It's very helpful. When you come before the legislature and you tell stories about why this bill is so important, it helps. It helps to get it passed. So I'm hoping that some of you will be able to help with that. This concludes our meeting for today. No further business before the forum. We are adjourned until the 25-26 interim. And again, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
I fluffed that one up, didn't I?
Thank you, Madam President.